Yes, guys. Welcome back to another stream. Welcome back to the player ratings. Fresh. We've all had some sleep, and we can really dial into these player ratings. I've asked you guys to guess which guest is on the show with me today. There's been a few guests. I'm going to bring them out right now. Is it Kevin De Bruyne? Is it Wakanji? Is it Balotelli? Is it Haaland? Is it Scott Carson? Is it Messi? Is it Masampa? Is it Fernandinho? It's Hugh Murray, ladies and gentlemen.
What a letdown. What a letdown.
Hey, the chat move mad, you know that. I'm asking what guest do you think I'm bringing out on the show, and they're all putting in like these like footballers and shit. Like someone put Foden in as well. I was like, what the hell? You guys are moving mad.
Maybe when LB gets to 20k, he can get Foden or Messi on or someone like that. But for now, he's got to deal with me. You know what I'm saying?
Big up, bro. How you doing, man?
Yeah, good, man. I just want to put this on. Hang on.
Oh, yeah, full screen. Yes. Is that last season? So is that the new season?
This is the shitty one they sent out to season ticket holders when we won the treble.
Oh, is that the treble one? Yeah.
Yeah, treble one. So I'll just tip X over treble and I'll just put champions on it.
Yeah, not until after Wednesday, not until after West Ham, man. What did you make last night, bro?
Roller coaster, bro. Roller coaster of emotions. Do you know what I'm saying? Like that first half, I was like, is this gonna be one of those days where we look back and go, we just weren't good enough. We just weren't at it. Like too many players seemed off the boil. It was, you know what it was, man? It was like that high line that Ange played. I was begging for it all week. And I think the players are so used to playing against low blocks week in, week out, that when we got up against a proper high line, the players looked a little bit frozen, like almost a little bit stage fright. It's like every time we got in possession, we were trying to play that killer pass, trying to play Haaland through, trying to play whoever through, like forcing it, when all we needed to do was just relax the ball. And then look, halftime came and I said, this is the period where Pep Guardiola shows why he's elite. This team talk at halftime could be one of the biggest he's ever done in his whole career, one of the most important he's ever done in his whole career. And the players came out and they were different. And then, you know, some absolute warriors stood up, you know, substitutions that didn't expect to play, maybe particularly Ortega. What an absolute champion that guy is. What an absolute warrior, superhero, whatever way you want to call it. Even Doku made an impact. Pep's substitutions, the way Pep managed the whole game in general was elite. Absolutely elite. And when people say things like, oh, we can't compete with City because they're corrupt and they have charges and they spend so much money and blah, 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 blah. No, you're up against an absolute genius. A genius. I don't think it's the players. The players are all very good in their own right, some of them world class. But what separates us on days like yesterday from teams that might drop points yesterday or might bottle it yesterday is Pep Guardiola. He's just an absolute freak of nature. We will never see or feel anything like he's given us ever again once he's gone. So as I said in the end of my stream last night, you have to enjoy it. You have to force yourself to cherish it, to enjoy every moment, to enjoy the Ortega saves, to enjoy the Haaland goals, to enjoy whatever trophies we lift, because it's so unbelievably special what this guy has brought to our club and allowed us to do. And last night just summed the whole thing up. Bro, think about it. All the narratives going into last night's game. All the narratives. Arsenal fans, fireworks for empty hotels, buying tickets to games, to the game that they weren't even playing. And United fans doing watch-alongs, praying Spurs get something so we don't go and do 4 in a row. And our team, our manager, ice fucking cold, go and do the job, bro. So, listen, absolute superheroes. I'm in debt to them forever. One to go, man. Unbelievable.
Now, listen, it was a good summary, man. Listen, for me, it's interesting that you mentioned the first half because it was so weird because on another day, we could have scored a number of goals in the first half from playing the ball through to Haaland. I think there was 2 things. I think you touched on one of them in the sense that maybe we just don't play. We just don't usually get that much space, and it almost took the players by, not surprised, because I guess we kind of knew they was going to play that high, but like they're just not used to teams playing that high up. And the fact that midfield was so congested. I've seen a lot of people in my chat yesterday, I'm sure you got the same, like, why was it so narrow? Why was it so narrow? And I'm pretty sure that, I said this yesterday, but I'm pretty sure that was a tactic from Pep to make sure that Spurs, when we lose the ball, don't just go straight through the middle of us and like counter-attack us. But it is hinder us a little bit. But then Pep Guardiola, I think you're right. I think his half-time team talk, I think he must have really rallied the guys up, you know what I mean, got them going. And I thought the second half performance was much better. And it was a team that knew it had a job to do, and it went out and done that job. It was a task. Yeah, it wasn't a game, wasn't emotion. It was, you've got a task in that second half to go out there and win the football match. Find a way. And that's what the players did. And Pep Guardiola's subs, you mentioned it again. Someone actually put it in the chat to me yesterday, yeah. Listen, his subs recently have been actually like, they've all been like just smashing him. Like all these subs are like proper mad. And it's kind of full circle really. Because if you remember, we used to go through a period, I'm sure we'll still go through this as well whilst he's our manager, at times where he just doesn't make subs. And we're there and we're like, make a fucking sub. And he doesn't make subs. But like his subs recently have been absolutely on point. Thought Doku come off the bench. He's been getting like criticism from some City fans and a lot of the non-City fans about what he actually does. Thought he was fantastic when he came on. Held the ball up really well. I think he's learnt that role so quickly this season. Because like, when he first joined, like, he was just spamming take-ons and that. And he come off the bench and done really well. Kovacic has come into his own. Gvardiol's been absolutely mega. So, yeah, it was just a mad performance. Just a good professional performance. That's absolutely what you need. So, yeah, we're going to get into the play ratings now anyway, guys. Big up to LB. Says, Joshko, my baller. 9.3. He's not even waiting for that. He's just getting his player rating in right now with a super chat. Big up to you, bro. Big up to JTI. He says, hit the likes up, people. Big up Hugh. Big up LB and the chat. Big up to you, JTI, man. I always see you, man, supporting in other channels as well, man. It's good that you support the community, man. Big up to you. And big up to Slicker as well. Says, big up LB and Hugh. Legends. Time to blow some bubbles, says Slicker. Yeah, man. Hopefully this Sunday, man. You know what I mean? We'll be partying together. Most West Ham fans hate Spurs, hate Arsenal anyway, so they'll probably be celebrating with us as well. And big up to Vivek as well, Chelsea fan, says, Son missed that on purpose, proper shithouse. Arsenal fans like they talk like they've been dominating football for 20 years. Please beat West Ham to save London. Big up LB, says Vivek. Listen, we'll do our bit, bro. We'll try our best, innit?
Do you know what that son missed? I was thinking two things in that situation as he was running through on goal. I was thinking, is this going to be a Kanji's Steven Gerrard moment? Slip Kanji.
I know.
And then as soon as Son missed it, my brain went to Iheanacho 2019, Leicester.
I know. Bro, the thing is with Akanji though, right? You all know that I've been Akanji's biggest fan this season, man. I've been pushing the agenda all season, and I think he's been our best defender, yeah. But the one thing that I will say about Akanji, he does have a bozo in him. 100%. Yeah. Like, I love the guy. I think he's been our best defender. I think he's mad underrated, not just at City and our own fan base at times, but the wider football world, no one respects him. But I will also put my hands up and say, he does have that in him. He does have a bozo in him, and we've not had a real bozo from him all season. I remember he made a mistake against Leipzig at home. If you remember in the Champions League group stage, I think it was, where he just let the guy run past him. But he does that have in him. But listen, we got away with it. Is what it is. We move on to the next one. But he's been fantastic this season. But it was pretty crazy that it would have been mad. Right, let's get into it, bro. Let's do some player ratings, man. As always, guys, we'll go for each player. We'll go through the stats of every player. We will do the subs as well, just because of the gravity of the game. We usually say average, you get a 6. If you think they were negatively impacting the game, the performance, then give them less than a 6. More than that, obviously, give them higher than 6. It's not that deep though, so do what you want. Right, Edison. We'll do Edison. He did play a large part of the game, so we will do it. 69 minutes played, 3 saves. 2 saves were inside the box. He prevented an XG of 0.75, so that's pretty decent as well. Didn't really get on the ball that much, really. That's actually quite low in terms of the amount of passes. Usually Edison's into the 30s, 40s. I know he got subbed off with 20 minutes to play, but even so, that is didn't really get a lot of the ball yesterday. 8 long balls, 5 successful, and that's pretty much it. Yeah, man. I mean, he got absolutely clattered into. He seems to get injured every game nowadays. Made a couple decent saves. I remember the one from the edge of the box, which, you know, I expect him to make it, but it hit with power and he tipped it over the bar. Thoughts on Edison, bro?
Yeah, I think you're right. It's a bit odd how little ball he got to his feet, particularly. But I think that kind of summarizes the first half. doesn't it? That Tottenham dominated large parts of the possession in the first half, which obviously is going to hinder Ederson's overall possession, because when we have possession, we're not going to back to him loads. But he kind of did what he had to do, really, didn't he? I mean, the saves he did make were kind of ones that, as you said, you'd expect him to make, but he did what he had to do. I felt bad for him. I felt really bad for him, because he only had a bad injury there, a month or two ago, and then he goes and gets battered by Romero like that. And whether it was reckless or not is up to you guys to decide, but I felt for him, and you could see his frustration when he came off the pitch. Isn't he?
Just a quick question. Do you know Ederson, when he come off and he was going sick,
yeah.
Do we know whether he was going sick because he was annoyed that he'd been injured, or was he going sick because he felt he could continue and Pep said, "Nah, you're off"? Do we know?
I think it's the latter, bro. I think it's the latter. I think Ederson wanted to continue. I think he wanted to continue. And then, look, we don't know the actual truth, but I think he wanted to continue. And then Pep said, "Nah, you have to come off." Right. Look, it's the right call. Whether Ederson wants to continue or not, you cannot mess around with head injuries. You cannot, he needed to go for a HIA, which is a head injury assessment, at least at full time, because you can't mess around with that. If you get a bad blow to the head, to the brain, you cannot mess around with that, no matter how fine he feels. And then he went and slipped with the goal kick straight after, and it was kind of like, is he actually got his balance? Is he fully with it? So it's probably a combination of, you can't take the risk with his head, and also Pep doesn't want to take the risk with the player potentially not being fully, with it, fully in the zone off the back of a bad injury. But I feel for him. I really feel for him. You could see how emotional he was. But look, he's a top keeper, and he's being challenged by the greatest backup keeper in world football right now as well. So we're blessed to have both. But I mean, I'd probably give him like a 7, in all honesty, for his performance, 7.2 maybe, because he only played 70 minutes, and Ortega had to deal with the real pressure, didn't he? Like whatever happened after that was Ortega.
I agree. I'm at 7, mate. I'd give him a flat 7. Yeah, it's a shame. He just seems to be getting, for some reason, he just keeps getting clattered into every game. Like someone just comes steaming into him and injuring him. So it obviously shows the importance of having a solid second choice keeper. But yeah, no errors, nothing major. I'll give him a 7 out of 10. Hugh's going 7.2, both reasonable. I'm going to do it slightly different this time, guys. I'm going to come to Ortega next, and we'll do it like that rather than going through the team. Because listen, that was insane. 21 minutes played. In those 21 minutes, he prevented an XG of 1.14, which is insane. 3 saves he made. 3 of those saves were all inside the penalty area. Passing accuracy a little low, but is what it is. Who cares? Is there a shout here? That this is a 10? Because if you think about it, yeah, that Son chance, it's a great save. I've watched the replay. Could Son do slightly better on the shot? Yes, but it's an unreal save. If he doesn't save that, there's 15 minutes to go with the injury time. Listen, we could still potentially score a winner. But come on, man. Do you really want to have been in that situation? 15 minutes to go, you need a goal, otherwise you're not winning the league. There's an argument here, serious argument, that he should get a 10 out of 10, because if he doesn't make the saves he make, and by the way, it wasn't just that save. He made the save for Son when Son tried to flick it over him. He made the save off Kulusevski as well. I might be mad, but I might give him a 10, bro. Because why not? If he doesn't do what he does, we lose the game, we draw the game, we don't win the league. He saved our season in terms of the Premier League. I'm giving him a 10. I think I'm at a 9.5 or a 10 myself. Look, the saves are absolutely fantastic, and you've kind of summarized that. But it's, people don't give enough acknowledgement to the situation that Ortega was in. He didn't expect to be coming on that game. Do you know what I'm saying? He a normal day at the office, 99 times out of 100, Ederson finishes that game and Ortega's not involved. Ortega has to come on in the 70th minute in a really, really high pressure situation and get in the zone from the off. It's do or die. If you make a mistake, Ortega, you've come on as a sub. If you make a mistake that costs us a goal, you're costing us history. You're costing us 4 in a row. So the pressure on his shoulders as he steps onto that pitch is monumental. He has no room to warm up. He has no time to get in the zone, no time to grow into the occasion and grow into the atmosphere and on the pitch and the intensity. He has to just go bang, I'm here from the beginning. And everything he was called upon, everything,
he did with flying colors. The Kulusevski one is an underrated save because the Sun one was so big, but the Kulusevski one was, that's a big save. The keeper makes himself big, which is what you have to do in that situation, and close down on the attackers as quick as you can. Great job. And then the Sun one is what was one we'll remember forever. That'll go down in City folklore. You know what I'm saying? That save Ortega made against or from Sun. So it's the mentality of the guy. Do you know what I'm saying? Like if that's Pantilimon, if that's Zach Steffen, if that's any of these guys, are you putting money on them as backup keepers to perform like that in that situation? I'm not sure. But this guy has just the elite mentality of a world-class goalkeeper, and that's probably why he's going to leave this summer. But in terms of last night, yeah, I think it's a 10. I think it's a 10.
I think, yeah. Well, I mean, we spoke about it yesterday. City got to do everything possible to convince this guy to stay. And I think, I said this last night, I'll repeat myself, so sorry for people who've heard this twice, but I think for me, in terms of like wages and stuff, because that's really all you can do is give him more money. I think if you view Ortega rather than as a backup choice goalkeeper, instead of viewing him like that and view him as a specialist sort of like emergency player, a player that plays a lot of football for us, then it's well worth the money. Ultimately, it is. I mean, he's on 55k a week. He's 31, I think he is. I understand he want to leave, and the problem is he's so good. It's not because people say, oh, if he leaves OLB, he's not going to win trophies. I think you're doing him a disservice because that implies he's going to go to a mid-table club. He ain't going to a mid-table club if he leaves. He's going to a top team. He walks into most teams around Europe. And I know there'll be some fans again in here who are not City fans that probably think I'm waffling. Take it from me and take it from City fans in the chat, guys, yeah? We're not just basing this off one save that he made last night. We're basing this off 2 years of evidence. There's a lot of City fans that would rather have him as City's number one than Edison.
Bro, he won the FA Cup. He won the FA Cup last season without conceding a goal from open play. Do you know how mad that is?
That's crazy. Crazy. So listen, he's unbelievable. I give him a 10 out of 10. Hugh's with me. Top performance. If we sell him anything less than 30 million, that's a joke. And the only reason I'm saying 30 million, because I think that's too low, is just the fact that he's only got 1 year left on his deal. If he had 2 or 3 years left, I'd be looking at 40, 50 million all day long. But I don't think we're going to get that because he's only got 1 year left on his deal. Yeah, unbelievable player. Unbelievable. And to think as well, another player, guys, we got for cheap, we got free transfer.
Free
Transfer. Someone's made themselves look like a right idiot, by the way, on BBC, whatever it's called. Look at this. Someone's put this on the BBC. Man City can afford to bring on a world-class reserve goalkeeper. Yeah, mate, it was a free transfer.
I think
it was a free
I think
transfer.
a Sunday League team could afford to bring him on at the event it costed. Do you know what I mean? Like,
it was a free transfer for a team that had just been relegated from the Bundesliga. So yeah. You need to just tone down the salt a little bit, Brez. You know what I mean? Scouting, Akanji, scouting, 15 million quid, scouting. You know what I mean? It's not all about the big money, the big money signings, man. You've got to get these players in. So yeah, fantastic. Right, let's move on. Go on, bro.
So these people are allowing their hate to cloud their knowledge and their information that they're processing, because that was just posted out of pure like anger and pure emotion. That had no substance to it, nothing to it. If you had any brain cells and done any research into Stefan Ortega, you'd know he didn't cost a dime. He didn't cost a dime. He cost us, 50 grand a week for the last 2 seasons. That's what Ortega has costed Manchester City. And you have the audacity to try and pull that stunt that City have brought on some £100 million keeper off the bench. Bollocks, mate. Absolute bollocks. And it just highlights where we're at, that no one is ever willing to give us praise. Not like, when people talk about the great Sir Alex Ferguson teams and the great Jose Mourinho team that conceded 14, 15 goals all season, everyone's just so angry at City all the time. They can't go, you know what? This is just amazing what they're doing, what Pep Guardiola is doing. And it's funny. If you don't laugh, you'll only get angry about it. So you have to just laugh.
The thing is as well, there is like stuff that you can like moan at City for, by all means. But like to moan at the fact that we got a free transfer from a second division German team, that's honestly hilarious. Big up Will says more teams should buy League 2 players. Big up LB. It's about the scouting, bro. It's about the scouting. Listen, big up for the super chat. Signs, I'm going to save your super chat, bro, for when we come on to Doku. Just FYI. Right, let's come on to Kyle Walker. That's his heat map from yesterday. 90 minutes played. He got 1 clearance, 5 ground duels, 4 of them won. 2 aerial duels, none of them won. 87% passing accuracy, 1 key pass, 1 big chance created, 2 dribble attempts successful. Listen, I don't know if this is controversial. I actually thought he played quite well yesterday. Now, I've got to say, crossing, not great, but let's be honest, his crossing's never really great. So I'm not really that. That's why I was quite surprised that we allowed Kyle Walker to bomb forward there. And actually, at the same time, kind of excited because if the rumours are to be true and we are going to sign an attacking fullback on that right-hand side, imagine if we had like a Jan Kuto or a Jeremy Frimpong in the position that Kyle Walker would have been in yesterday. Game's probably over after 20, 30 minutes. So I can't really get onto him too much personally about his crossing because, you know what I mean? I know that he was never going to do well crossing. Thought defensively, did quite well. Defended quite well. Don't really remember making too many mistakes in terms of defensive issues. Obviously, captain the side as well at his former club. There's a lot of pressure on. And ultimately, captain this side, he's almost got us now to a Premier League. And no matter what people say about him, how bad he's been this season, a lot of people question whether he should be captain. We're 2 games away from potentially winning 4 trophies this season. You know what I mean? So credit has to be given, even though he's not had a good season. So I thought he played all right yesterday. Not going to go silly. I think, I'm agreeing with the chat. Maybe something like a 7.3 is sort of where I'm at. But I thought he played well. I do think he played well yesterday. I actually, as the season's gone on, this last month or so, I do think he's actually played all right, personally.
Yeah, he was fine. He was fine. I mean, in the first kind of 20 minutes or so, he was given loads of space on that left-hand side. I don't know where Van de Ven was. He was really, really narrow, and Walker had acres of space. And he wasn't really capitalizing from it, was he? Like, you know, his final ball is definitely something that lets him down, but that's not really Kyle Walker's game, is it? He had 1 or 2 foot races with Son on their left-hand side, our right-hand side, and he dealt with them really comfortably, as you'd expect him to. He was fine. He was fine. No standout moments. No, calamities. And I suppose from a defender, as long as there's no calamities, it's been a kind of a decent game. So it is what it is. There's a lot of pressure on Walker's shoulders. You know what I'm saying? Like he's had a very turbulent season, both on and off the pitch. So I said before my watch along when we were building up to it yesterday, I was like, look, I'm happy to forgive Kyle Walker for anything he's done this season if he can lead us to this trophy on Sunday. I really am, because this is when it matters most. Not when whatever mistakes he made in November, December, January. This is when it matters most. And his presence on the pitch is obviously something that's valued a huge amount. So, look, he's been fine. He's been good. I don't think at all this season, if I'm being totally honest and hypercritical, he's not been anywhere near elite Kyle Walker levels. And last night wasn't either. But he's been fine in recent weeks. And once he gets the job done this week, I have no qualms, no arguments. So I'd probably go with a flat 7. I don't think he was any better than Ederson or any worse either.
That's fair, 100%. That's fair, very reasonable. Big up to LB says Goldbridge said United are interested in Ortega.
Oh,
well, that puts the price up at least double if that happens. But he's better than Onana. He's better than Onana anyway. Okay, let's come on to Ruben Diaz. Interesting, he's got quite a high SOFA score rating, but I don't know if you guys agree with me. I'll go through the stats, but I thought he actually worried me a little bit yesterday. Didn't look too composed, but I'm interested to get your view, Hugh, and obviously you in the chat, guys. Let me know in the chat what you guys think about Ruben Diaz. That's his heat map right there. 90 minutes played, made 1 clearance, 1 block shot, 2 interceptions. He won 4 out of 3 ground duels. Didn't win his only aerial duel, though. 97% passing accuracy, 1 key pass, 1 cross successful, 6 long balls, 5 successful. Stats are mint. And I think he played well. But I don't know what it is. He just seemed to worry me every time he got on the ball. I was a bit like, whoa, he didn't look comfortable. So, weird performance yesterday. I thought he did play well. He just was a bit scary at times. I don't know. What you think?
He had a game of 2 halves, Ruben Diaz, for me. He had a game of 2 halves. I thought the first half he was scaring the shit out of me. I mean that truly. I think he was really, really nervous, looking a bit rusty. Look, the thing with Ruben Diaz is I think he's one of these players that you get him at his best when he's playing consistently, when he's starting week in, week out, when he feels he's one of the first names in the team sheet. That's when you get Ruben Diaz. Says, this is where we get big. When he says that, he gets big when he's playing week in, week out, and he's comfortable in the 11. But he's not been starting, has he? He's not been the favourite centre half or the number 1 centre half for a couple of weeks now. But then the second half, I think he solidified himself. He calmed down and he was fine. He did his thing. But yeah, he was. It's probably not been his best season either. it's probably not been his best season either. And I think it probably highlights how good, you know, your Akes and your Akanjis and your Gvardiols have been, that top players like Walker and Diaz and Stones, those three, you know, Stones has been in and out for large parts. Diaz not been his best, Walker's not been his best. That other defenders have really stepped up and done a good job. So I thought, look, I think he defined second half last night. The first half he was scaring me, but a lot of them were scaring me in the first half. You know what I'm saying? Giving the ball away a lot, but yeah, it was fine. It was okay.
I also feel like someone said something to me a while ago. I can't remember who said it to me. Like, do you remember there was a conversation that was going on like last year, or it might have been the year before, when people said, "Oh, John Stones needs Ruben Diaz next to him to play well," and there seemed to have been a flip, and people now start to say, actually, Diaz needs John Stones next to him to play well. It's quite interesting how that sort of narrative has changed. But I also feel that since the Arsenal game, we all sort of agreed. That we kind of need to go for it because we need to win games. Draws are no longer good for us, and we're pushing up the pitch higher, and that probably makes him a little bit more vulnerable because he's the slowest player we have in the defence. You know, so he's probably not the player that you really want in the centre of a defensive three. Obviously, if Gvardiol's pushed up when you're playing such a high line, so he probably feels a bit nervous playing that high up and that aggressive, but. I think he's another player that, yeah, you're right, he's not had his best season. I do think he's improved since sort of December time. I thought before December, I didn't think he was playing well at all, and I think he actually got away with it. Not many people was calling him out on it. But since December, I do feel he's slowly got better and better and better. It's an interesting one because whilst he didn't give me the impression that he looked mint yesterday, he didn't really do too much wrong. So I am going to give him a good score. I'm going to give him a 7.5. I thought he made some big challenges, defended well, made a couple decent blocks as well. So yeah, I'm going to give him a 7.5. I thought he played well.
Yeah, I think he grew into the game. I think it's, do you know what it is? I think it's the system that we're playing right now, as you say, probably doesn't favor the slightly slower center half. Like, because we essentially sort of play two at the back, particularly when we're in possession, don't we? Like we have two flying fullbacks in Gvardiol and Walker yesterday. So at times it's really just two people at home. So any fast counter attack is going to put strain and pressure on a defender who's not rapid. But he dealt with it. He grew into the game. You know, he's a top mentality, Ruben Diaz. He won't let a little scare or a little wobble, you know, totally throw him off the game or totally freak him out. I'd run with a 7.4, 7.5. I thought he was fine. You know what I mean? No major issues.
Okay, cool. Big up to you guys in the chat. Keep your scores and comments coming in. By the way, guys, please make sure you've hit that thumbs up button, man. Over 500 people tuned in right now. Let's get those likes up. We need 15 people to hit the thumbs up button, man, to get to 200 likes. 15 people out of 500 to get to 200 likes. Please make sure you smash that thumbs up button. Make sure you subscribe to Hugh as well. I'll get his link in the title in just a second. Right, let's continue, bro. Let's continue. Let's go to Manuel Akanji. This is a bit of a weird one, isn't it, really? That's his heat map from yesterday. 90 minutes played in the game. 4 clearances. 1 error that led to a shot. Okay. 3 ground duels, 1 of them won. 95% passing accuracy. 6 long balls, 5 successful. Okay. Mr. Manuel, where do we start? You almost ruined our bloody season, bro! What are you doing, man? Just pass the ball. He got the ball. All he needed to do was pass it back to the goalkeeper. And bro just decided to just fucking take touch after touch after touch after touch before losing it, man. Listen, it's one of those, isn't it? It's a life of a footballer. You make one mistake, and you can just be remembered for that for years and years and years. I'm so happy it didn't end up going in because he's been absolutely fantastic this season. He's been our best defender. Yeah, man, listen, I don't know. How do you even rate a player like this, bro? Like, because ultimately it didn't cost us a goal, but it was a mistake so bad that it effectively you lose the title. Like, how do you even... I need your help on this as well, chat. How do we rate him, bro? Do we just rate him off the fact that the goal didn't go in, so he gets a good rating? Or do you rate the fact that he almost destroyed our Prem season?
It's the life of a defender, isn't it? It's the life of a defender. They rarely get the glory, but if they make a mistake like that, it's remembered. It's really fucking remembered. I'm really glad it didn't go in, not just for the fact that it saved our season, but also for the fact that he doesn't deserve that moment. Do you know what I'm saying? Akanji does not deserve that moment on his CV.
He doesn't deserve it.
He doesn't. So I'm really glad for him because he deserves to be looked back on this season as one of our best players. Truly, really and truly one of our best players. But I don't know how to rate him. I don't know how to rate him right now, bro, because at that moment I was fit to fly to London and kill the guy. In that second, I was like, if this goes in, I am going to kill Akanji because I go on every single show on my channel on the Big Six and I talk this guy up. You know what I mean? The 15 million pound, nobody from Dortmund, and his class for us, and he was about to let it all go down the drain. All the praise was all about to go down the drain, but I don't know how to rate him. I mean, can we take like an average from the chat or something? Because I think we're gonna be wrong regardless.
Listen, I'll say this. I'll give him a 6. Yeah, I thought he played. I think this is a decent comment from Samir. Was good the whole game. Error balanced out. 6 in my opinion. If they would have scored, it gets a 0. Like that's just how the game works, guys. That's the game is the game. If you make a mistake that costs us the title, you're getting a 0. Just like when Haaland missed all the open nets in one match and we didn't win, he got a 0. That's just how the game works. So I'll give him a 6. I will forgive him ultimately because it didn't go in the back of the net, and he has been so good this season and he deserves a little bit of grace. So yeah, man, I'll give him a 6. But maybe we'll take this advice from Harsha. Maybe we'll just move on, bro. Yeah.
I'll give him a 6.5 because I think other than that, his overall game was fine. He didn't look nervous. He looked solid in the second half. He was there. He had a good link up with Diaz, but 6.5 is the best I can give you, mate, based on that one moment that we will forget about from here on in.
But don't worry, Manuel. Don't worry, bro. I know you watch the streams, yeah? It's okay, bro. Don't worry. Like, it didn't go in the back of the net, so it's all chill. It's all chill. Yeah, like Karl says, you might have killed a few City fans last night, right?
Yeah.
With some heart attacks and that. Put, a lot of people dialing 999, ordering ambulances and that, yeah, because of the heart attacks. So don't worry about the pressure that you put on the already strained NHS. It didn't go in the back of the net. We moved, bro. Yeah? We moved, lad. Don't worry about it, man. Right, let's continue. Let's come on to Josko Gvardiol. That's his heat map yesterday. So maybe not as far forward because it's you attack right to left on this. So maybe not as far forward as we usually see him. Usually, this red dot is in the opposition half. So he played a little bit more conservative yesterday, a little bit more defensive minded. 90 minutes played, 2 clearances, 3 interceptions, 6 ground duels, 1 out of 6. 82% passing accuracy. 5 long balls, 4 successful, 1 shot off target, 2 dribble attempts, both successful, and a big chance missed. I can't lie, I thought it was absolutely fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. His tackling is insane. Here's the thing, right? When we signed, I keep saying this, right? And the chat will remember me saying this. Earlier in the season, we was playing Gvardiol, right? And I've rated Gvardiol all season, personally. I thought he's been mint all season. But what I remember saying earlier in the season, when we get to the Champions League knockout stages, Ake will play left back because he's a better 1v1 defender. And I still think he is. But the gap between them is not very big. Gvardiol is unbelievable. Unbelievable. He don't get the praise from the wider football media that he should do, right? But what he can do on the ball, yeah, is insane. And his defending is severely underrated. Severely underrated. People will go, oh, he got smoked off Fofana against Burnley. First of all, yeah, people didn't realise that Fofana come on with like 10 minutes to go. The guy's rapid anyway, and Josko Gvardiol just played 80 minutes. Like, that happens all the time. That's the FIFA tactic, innit? You know what I mean? You bring on the rapid guy with 10 minutes to go. I genuinely think he's unbelievable. I think we got him at a bargain price, genuinely 70 million. I think we'll be looking back at that in a few years' time and going, wow, what a steal. And I just think he's mint. And I backed him all season, and I'm so happy people now who've like maybe needed to see him a little bit more. Maybe some people weren't convinced with him initially. Maybe some people just really, really wanted Ake to be in the team because of what he done last year. Yeah, listen, Briggsy, fair play, man. Briggsy was mod in the chat. Briggsy wasn't a massive fan of Gvardiol. There was a lot of people that wasn't massive. You know what I think? I don't know whether this is true. Maybe Briggsy or someone else in the chat can let me know. Maybe people had an unconscious bias because they loved Ake so much because of what he did last year that they just wanted Ake back in there instead of Gvardiol. But now they're seeing that Gvardiol is actually just mint. Maybe they're like, oh, no, we can actually just chill with Gvardiol. Your take on Josko, bro?
Yeah, I think we're creatures of habit, bro. I think we're creatures of habit. Like this season, I mean, last season we saw Ake absolutely kill it at left back, and it's almost like why are you changing it, bro? We won the treble. Why are you changing a winning formula? And Pep persevered with Vardiol, and I'm similar to Briggsy at the start of the season. Like I didn't dislike him, but I was kind of like, is he impacting in the way that he should be? Is he impacting in the way that we want? And Pep persevered with him. I think Pep can't believe his luck with Josko Gvardiol, or maybe not luck, but like he's just buzzing to have him because you look at the left backs we've had in recent years, like Zinchenko, Cancelo, those two particularly, yeah. Really good going forward by all means. Technically, really good footballers, creative. They'll get involved in build-up play. They might get the odd goal, the odd assist. But what they all had in common, the common denominator was they were all flawed defensively in one way or another. They were all flawed defensively. Vardiol's the full package. He's the full deal, the full Monty. Do you know what I'm saying? He'll go forward, he'll get goals, he'll link up with Grealish, he'll link up with Kovacic, Foden, whoever. And then on the reverse, the flip side, when he's called upon defensively, you fancy Vardiol because it's the life of a left back is, yeah, it's great if you're technically good and you look good going forward, but you positionally have to be hyper aware. Your positioning has to be super intact. You have to know where to be. You can't be too focused on the attacking side of things. And for Pep, you can't be too focused on the defensive side of things either. Vardiol has found the perfect balance of being a Pep Guardiola left back. He knows exactly where to be at all times. I think his heat map, the red dot, is probably so far back because for large parts of the game, Tottenham controlled the ball and Vardiol couldn't take the risk and go too high up the pitch. But no, he's super, man. He's a super player, and I keep gassing him up on Big Six and on Twitter, and I'm met with the same thing the whole time. Oh, well, he should be this good for how much he costed. He should be this good. He should be that good. Well, then let's say that about Declan Rice. Let's say that about Caicedo when he plays well. Let's say that about anybody who plays well that costs a lot of money and just not give them praise, because that's not fucking fair. That's not fair on the player who's performing to an elite level, Vardiol, right now when it matters the most in a title race, and you can't give him praise because he costed 74 odd million. Absolute bollocks to me. Absolute bollocks. He's a super player, and I think he could be I think he could go down as a Premier League all-timer. If this is how he looks in his first season, if he continues to progress well, he could go down as to be an all-time Premier League defender, man. He's truly special. He really is. And the fact that he's kept Ake at a left back is wow.
That's the biggest compliment you can give him, really, isn't it? You know what I mean? In that, like Ake, who didn't put a foot wrong last season, is just been like, you're not playing left back no more, mate, because Gvardiol can do what you can do defensively, but he also gives me much more going forward. So it is really is fantastic. We'll give the rating in a second. Got a couple chats coming in off on Josko. Mansour says, I'm sorry, Gvardiol missed a good chance where he could have passed it back to Haaland. And to be fair, this season Haaland is not fair. Yeah, that was probably his biggest mistake, really. He should have done that. And yeah,
but you know what? Do you know what I did with that one, bro? I said this in my watch along. Like, Vardiol will improve on that specific niche situation with experience. He does not have experience, bucket loads of experience of being in that position where, as you square it to a striker. Vardiol's a centre half by nature. Vardiol's a centre half.
That's why you've got to be a little bit. That's when he does some shit cross here. It'll wind me up, and it wound me up yesterday when what Mansour's talking about. It wound me up, and he's done other crosses as well this season, which wound me up. But ultimately, I have to come back to the point of he's a centre back. So I can't really. It's like with the Kyle Walker situation when he's crossing in. It annoys me when Kyle Walker puts crap crosses in the box, but I can't really get too angry about it because I know he's not a good crosser of the football. You know what I mean? It's that is the one con. I mean, Gvardiol could cross a football. I mean, Jesus, it'd be the next Messi. Big up to Darcy. Says, sick of these narratives about Josko being shit early in the season. I swear people don't actually watch the games. And then he says, also, LB, I don't know if you remember, but back in 2022, when we were talking about signing a left back, I brought up that player. I brought up that I thought Josko could be that wide centre back, left back type player. Happy to be right about him. Well, this is what I've said a lot this season. Gvardiol is what Pep wanted Laporte to be. Pep wanted a Laporte to be able to play on that left hand side. And whatever people say about him, and this is not me digging out Laporte because I rate him, I like him. But Laporte could only really play in a back four and a back two on the left side, yeah? You needed a back four. If your left back started bombing forward and it exposed Laporte to wide areas, nah. Because Laporte wasn't a good 1v1 defender. There's plenty of evidence Yeah, and again, this is me hating on him. This is me just telling you what Pep wanted. There's plenty of evidence to suggest he wasn't the best 1v1 defender. Amazing at other stuff, yeah. But when you want him out the wide areas, he couldn't really do it. Gvardiol is an upgrade on Laporte. Like I say, and he didn't. Yeah, Laporte wasn't very fast as people are mentioning. Laporte is excellent. If you play Laporte in a back four, right, with a solid left back, solid right-sided centre back, it doesn't really matter who the right back is. Amazing. Because the passes that he can do, all fantastic. But when you expose him, especially in wide areas, in a 1v1 area, it's not the best. So that's why Gvardiol is fantastic for this current system. Cyan Silver says, Cook twerk issue. He was twerking for Son. He was not happy, was he?
Did you see Turkish on the AFTV watch along? He turned up in all white. Turned up in all white.
Oh no! Yeah, I've seen it, man. He got up and stormed off at one point. He was not happy.
He's I will speak to Turkish. I will speak to him.
When is the next show?
The next main show, I think we're doing FIFA tonight, but the next main show is tomorrow or Friday. Yeah, Friday night.
That'd be interesting. Big up LB says Pep's legs literally went when Son was through. Fucking hell, bro! I mean, everyone just. I'm surprised. You know, it's bad. It was bad, bro. Honestly, I was gone. I was gone.
Was that did it give you a similar feeling to Iheanacho in 2019 before Iheanacho missed? Yeah, but when he's through on goal and you're kind of like, this is it. We're about to lose a league here. Did it give you the same like, oh no?
I think so.
Because I was at the game where Company scored that goal and Iheanacho.
When was that? What year was that?
It was 2019. It was the week before we won the league at Brighton.
Yeah, I would have been there then. I would have been at the game.
I was at the top of Colin Bell. I was at the top of Colin Bell. I remember it was right. I was at the end where Iheanacho was through on goal, and I was like, I turned to whoever was with me, and I was like, yeah, this is it.
I can't remember what I felt like because it's so long ago. My memory's ass. But yeah, I would have been at the game. But I imagine I felt the same. It's the same thing. I imagine the toilets were the queue for the toilets was very large after that. I'll say that. Joe's coming in on your point before, Hugh. He says, people have never said that about Van Dijk, who cost 75 million when he plays well. It's only said about our players. I wonder why, says Joe.
It's facts, Joe. That's absolute facts. You know what I'm saying? It only seems to be our players that don't get the justified praise, and their price tag is talked about non-stop. I mean, even Jack Grealish, for God's sake, last season was immense. I'm sorry, I don't know what you think about him, bro, but last season, in the treble-winning campaign, he was one of our most consistent performers, goals and assists in big games. And whenever I bigged him up, it was, well, he cost 100 million, Well, then don't tell me about Declan Rice. I don't want to hear any Declan Rice praise. Don't tell me how good he is. Don't tell me how he's revolutionized Arsenal's midfield. Don't tell me how he's the best midfielder in the league or whatever way you want to praise him because he cost 105 million. Shit debate. It just ruins the whole conversation. Well, you can't praise a footballer because a certain club paid this amount and a certain club accepted that amount. That's not fair on a footballer. I've praised Declan Rice all season. I don't talk about his price tag. I've praised Van Dijk. I've praised Alisson, one of the most expensive goalkeepers of all time. I'll praise anybody who's playing well. I don't care enough about their price tag if they're playing well. I think Gvardiol falls into the category of a player right now who deserves praise but won't get it because everyone goes, City paid loads of money for him. It's lame. It's lazy.
Bro. People who do that, I think, are just bare salty. I think you out yourself as a pure salty fan if that's what you're doing. Right, let's move it on to Rodri. Big up Citizen Dortmund signs. I'll bring you super chats up when we get on to Doku, bros. Right, that's Rodri yesterday. I'm interested to get your take on Rodri. I'm seeing tweets that apparently he had a bad game. Interested to know your takes on this. Rodri, did he play bad? Apparently Twitter's saying he did. 90 minutes played. 88% passing accuracy, which is slightly low for Rodri. I mean, he's normally in the 94% area, 95%. 13 long balls, 9 successful. So misplaced 4 long balls. So he only misplaced 5 normal passes, which isn't that bad. He won 5 out of 11 ground duels. He won both of his aerial duels. 1 clearance, 1 interception. Got dribble past 3 times. Was he bad, bro? I don't think he was bad. Was it one of his best games ever? No, but was he bad? I don't think he was bad. I think people go way over the top.
Nah, he wasn't bad. He definitely wasn't bad, but he wasn't at his best. And it highlights how important he is because when he's not at his best, the whole thing doesn't look great, does it? Like the overall performance yesterday wasn't vintage Manchester City. It wasn't, tantalizing performance, but that a lot of that is down to Rodri not being at his very best. And I have a lot of leeway for Rodri right now the guy playing the crazy amount of football he is, the crazy amount of pressure on his shoulders to be 10 out of 10 Rodri week in, week out. And then, you see a performance like last night and it isn't amazing. But for his standards, for his really high standards, it wasn't his best game. It really wasn't. It wasn't a great game. Thought he gave the ball away a couple of times, but sloppily. His decision making was a bit slow. Maybe taking an extra touch that he wouldn't have taken, 4 or 5 months ago when he's feeling a bit fresher. But he wasn't bad. He definitely wasn't bad by any means.
What's annoying, right? You've had your little rant about the fees. I'll have my little rant now, yeah. Because like that performance that he put in there, yeah. If he played like that for Liverpool, Arsenal, United, maybe not Arsenal because they've got Declan Rice, but like any other team in the league, they're all saying that's a world-class performance. I watched Amrabat play against Arsenal the other day, right, for United, and he was shit, right? And I goes on Twitter and the United fans are gassing him up. I'm thinking, if you think that was a good performance from your CDM, you have fallen a lot worse than you actually think. You know what I'm saying? So yeah. Rodri gets punished by setting his own high standards. And I guess, by the way, I can't really moan about that because that would have happened with all the greats. It probably would have happened with Messi. Probably happens with Ronaldo. It probably happens with R9. Once you put yourself on that pedestal of being one of the best players in the world in that position, yeah, if you do have a slight dip, everyone goes, crap. Well, actually, no, it wasn't crap. It was just average. Like, it's still a pretty good performance. He misplaced 5 passes in the whole game if you exclude the long balls. That's pretty good for me. So I will give him a 7.9.
I was gonna say 7.8. So we're kind of the same.
Yeah, there we go on Rodri, guys. You know what? I'm actually buzzing to talk about Kovacic, you know.
Yeah, man.
Let me go through his stats and then we'll get onto this guy. That's his heat map, guys. So actually played a very central role. Did drift left and mainly on the right, but pretty much, as you can see by the red there, he did actually play very central yesterday. He played the full 90 minutes in the game, misplaced only 3 passes in the whole match, and one of those passes was a long ball as well. 96% passing accuracy, 1 shot off target, 1 shot blocked, 7 ground duels, won 3 of them, 3 interceptions as well, got dribbled past just 1 time. Should there be a conversation about, in terms of value for money, is Mateo Kovacic up there for just in the conversation? I'm not saying he wins it. Should he be up there in terms of player of the signing of the season, in terms of value for money? Because 25 million quid, bro. I just think that's an absolute steal. And I knew it was a steal at the time. I didn't know he played this much, to be fair. I thought he'd be more like squad rotation. But 25 million for a guy that's played over 100 caps for his country. Real Madrid, Inter Milan, Chelsea. I think he's won 4 or 5 Champions Leagues or something like that. Something crazy. You know what I mean? This guy's full of experience, and he just seems like a perfect Pep player. I thought he's been absolutely brilliant, and actually, I think he's the reason that Grealish don't get in the team, because I think you need Grealish in the team or you need Kovacic in the team. You can't have them both because I think it's too slow, it's too controlled if you have both of them in the team. Yeah. And Kovacic at the moment, I think he's keeping Grealish out the team, which I know might seem wild because they play different positions, but I genuinely do. Kovacic at the moment, as someone just said in the chat, he's undroppable. He's absolutely undroppable.
Last night was absolutely class, and it'll go underappreciated because he didn't score, he didn't assist, and that kind of thing. I think with Kovacic, he's a victim of being painted by the brush of, oh well, he's not Gundogan. Well, he's not Gundogan. He's not Gundogan. He doesn't do what Gundogan did. You know what I'm saying? But he's not there to be Gundogan. He's there to be Kovacic. He's there to do what Kovacic does. Pep knew exactly what he was getting when he signed Mateo Kovacic, especially at the price he did. Look, last night, particularly in the first half, I already said it was a very frantic first half for Manchester City. It was, giving the ball away a bit sloppily at times, a bit nervy looking at times. He was one of the main calming presences in that midfield. He was keeping the ball. He was moving it. He was being pragmatic. He was trying to slow things down when it needed to be slowed down. He used every ounce of experience he has in last night's game. It showed in his movement. It showed in his ball retention. He was really press resistant. He's not there to be Gundogan, people. He's not there to score those clutch goals. He's not there to score, the goals that Gundogan would have got, say, in an FA Cup final. He's there to be on that pitch and be a calming presence and just keep the ball moving. And that's exactly what he did. I think I hold my hands up. I probably haven't given enough credit to Kovacic, and I probably haven't given enough credit in general to the business that we did last summer. I think I've been a bit too critical of the business we did last summer and saying, oh, we let go of Mahrez and Gundogan and we replaced them with Kovacic, Doku and Gvardiol and so on and so forth. And I was too over the top with it. When the reality is these guys have either grown into the season really well or actually played really, really well and are not being given the justified praise. I mean, I know we'll move on to Doku eventually, but even the role he played when he came off the bench last night was huge. The way he played when he came on was so important, and what he did when the penalty and so on and so forth. But Kovacic, it's probably one of the best pieces of business Pep's done since he signed for the club at 25 million. It's absolutely fantastic because he's still by quality and by experience, he's still probably a 50 million pound footballer.
You know what, bro? That's a good point on the signings, right? I think we might have gone, and City fans, we might have not appreciated Kovacic enough. I think sometimes people have taken out, and maybe myself included in this, by the way, maybe we've taken out our frustration on a Kovacic, and not really Kovacic, to be fair, because he's never really like got cooked, but like Doku, for example, he's probably got a little bit too much cooking, but that cooking really should go to some like the board for letting Mahrez go. But Doku, obviously, because he's the replacement, he gets cooked. But actually, it's not really him. It's not his fault. You know what I mean? Like, he didn't choose to replace Mahrez himself. You know what I mean? Like, so, yeah, you're right on the signings. They've definitely grown into it. I think Kovacic right now is undroppable. I think, actually, him and Rodri work incredibly well. Is it any surprise that Rodri's probably had his best season in Manchester City shirt when Kovacic has been in the team? No, because I think Kovacic gives Rodri a little bit more freedom. Gundogan didn't give Rodri freedom because Gundogan needed the freedom to do Gundogan things. Mm-hmm. But we all know Kovacic ain't scoring goals. We all know Kovacic ain't really getting any assists. Might get one or two throughout the season, but the history, he's 29. Look at his stats everywhere he's been. He's probably I'd be surprised if he's ever got more than 8 GA in one season. Yeah, he doesn't score goals, he doesn't assist. So Kovacic allows Rodri the freedom which Gundogan wouldn't. Yeah, and then Rodri's gone and set his best ever goals and assist record, which is quite frankly ridiculous. So yeah, I think Kovacic, great player. I give him an 8.2. I'm going to give Kovacic. I thought he was great.
I think it's his relationship with the whole midfield in general. I think he also affords De Bruyne and Foden the freedom to express themselves and be more threatening going forward as well, because he seems to understand positioning really, really well. Like if Rodri goes this way, Kovacic has to go that way. If De Bruyne is over here, Kovacic has to be over there. He reads the midfield and he reads the game really, really well. And it's a totally underrated quality. Do you know what I'm saying? It's a totally underrated quality for a midfielder who can spot where there's danger, can spot where there's a pocket needs to be picked up or where he should be calling for the ball. Like that's essentially like what Calvin Phillips lacked. Do you know what I mean? Calvin Phillips didn't have the footballing brain to be able to I don't know, understand what Pep wants his midfielders to do, where you should be and what positions you should pick up. And Kovacic just got it from the off. Remember, we did a watch long last summer for a preseason game, and we were looking at Kovacic going, wow, this guy seems to just get it. He seems to just get it. Like he knows where he needs to be at all times. But yeah, like I think you're right. You shouldn't expect Kovacic to be picking up 15, 20 GNA. Like, why has this guy won Champions Leagues with Real Madrid? Why has this guy played for Chelsea? Why has this guy got over 100 caps for Croatia? It's because he's clearly at a top level midfielder for what he does. He's a specialist. I'll give him an 8.4 for last night. I was really, really impressed with him overall. I'm one of these people. I don't watch the game. I don't make my judgments off stats or numbers I see on apps. I watch the match and I go, does that player look like he's playing well? Does he look like he gets what he's meant to be doing?
Oh, you got to use the eye test, man. These people who just use stats only are weirdos, man. You've got to use your eyes. You've got to look at what's on the pitch and going on, because at the end of the day, yeah, like I could go and play centre half for City, right, and I could say to myself, right, I'm gonna just pass the ball to the guy next to me for the whole game and come out with 100% passing accuracy. Yeah. Does that make me a good player? Does that mean I've had a good game? Would you rather have someone like me playing centre back, just passing the ball to Kyle Walker every single time, getting 100% accuracy, or would you rather a centre half maybe have, I don't know, 89%, but he's playing mint balls into Haaland, playing mint balls into KDB? Yeah, that's the situation. Obviously, you'd rather have the guy playing 89% passing accuracy, lower passing, but playing better and more risky passes. So you've got to compare. You've got to use your eyes. I think stats are kind of nice to complement it.
Yeah.
But you don't have to use stats. If you just want to use the eye test alone, you can do. But I do think sometimes using stats is good to back up what you say. But you can't just use stats. These people on social media that just post sofa score ratings. You know what I mean? They're like, look at this. It's just like, you guys are weird, man. Honestly. Big up to Joel says a lot of our players could have been picked up by many clubs, but get called £100 million players that only City can buy is bollocks. Look at Akanji, Eddie. Akanji, Ake, Eddie, even Rodri, most teams could have got them. Yeah, now 100%, mate. This is the thing. Like, if you actually look at all
They
that
don't
team,
get them, but they don't get them. They do not get Ake, Ederson, and Rodri and Akanji at the level they're at now. Ever. The reason these players are as good as they are is because of Pep Guardiola. That's fact. They are as good as they are. Anybody else signs any of these players, they do not become as good as they are right now. They are what they are because of Pep. I mean, even Rodri. We all love Rodri and sing his praises, but I'm sorry. Remember his very first season, and he's playing in a double pivot with Gundogan. I'm happy to admit, I was like, I'm not sure about this Rodri guy. I don't know if
I knew straight away, me, bro.
Fuck off. No, I mean it's true. He used to get on my tits in his very first season, Rodri. Ake, very good player for Bournemouth, probably would have been a very good player for someone else in the Premier League, but Pep has made him, in my opinion, a world-class player. Ake is world-class. Akanji, 15 million stalemate at Dortmund, career probably going down the drain a little bit, wasn't really here, wasn't really there. Pep brings him in, finds him a home, and just develops him and adapts him. And there's plenty more like it. There's plenty more like it who Pep is the reason they become what they are, and they owe their careers to Pep Guardiola because it's his brilliance. It really is his brilliance.
The thing is as well, right, Hugh, yeah, just to expand on that slightly, with obviously the spending restrictions now, you can't just buy ready-made players because the ready-made players, guys, are 100, 120 million pound. If you want a ready-made striker, right, you're going to have to go for Isak or Osimhen. Well, that's 120, 130 million straight away. You only have to spend a certain amount of money nowadays, so you can't. I think I don't like the rules personally, but what these rules will do, it will really, really highlight who's got the best scouts, who's got the best scouting network, and who spends their money the best. Because the days of just being able to go out and buy the best players, it's over. You can't do that no more. Because the best players cost over 100 million quid, and you're not allowed to spend that much money. If you want, so for example, United, I believe United need to rip up and start again because half the players are not good enough. Yeah? Probably more than half the players. Now, 20 years ago, they could just go, right, we'll go get all the best players. 30 million quid, right? You could do that. That's why Chelsea was so successful under Roman Abramovich, because they could do that. But even now, Roman would have to change his strategy, because you couldn't just go out and get the best players. You could go out and say, right, we need a striker, who getting Fernando Torres? Who do we need? Shevchenko. You can't do that anymore. There'd be 150 million quid. So what this will do, it will highlight, who's got the best scouts, who's got the best network. And at the moment, you've got to say City clearly have that with the players that you've just mentioned, the players that Joe mentioned on his super chat. That's where we're at. Good comment, bro. Big up, Joe. Right, let's move on to Phil Foden. Got a low rating on here. That's his heat map. So mainly played off the right hand side, which is interesting because he has been played more on the left recently. 90 minutes played. 93% passing accuracy. 1 key pass in the game. 5 crosses. 1 successful. 2 long balls. 2 successful. 1 shot on target, 1 big chance missed. Although, to be fair, it was an amazing save. You know what I mean? I think saying it was a miss, I think just Vicario, great save. 4 dribbles, 2 successful. He won 6 out of 14 ground duels. Some other stats there as well. Listen, it was a bit of a weird one. I don't think it was a mad performance, but both goals did start with Phil Foden. Phil Foden was the guy who put the cross into Bernardo Silva, who ended up putting KDB in, and then KDB put the cross in. Now, on that one, you could go, well, there's been 3 passes before, but he did start that with the pass. And then he obviously played the ball to Doku to win the penalty. So for me, it's I don't think it was one of his best games, but the 2 goals are impacted by Phil Foden. So for me, I'll probably give him an 8.1. What do you think?
I think, yeah, it wasn't his best performance, but it definitely highlights where he's at right now, that even when he's not having his best game, he's still super influential in the game. His fingerprints are still all over the game and all over the result. I almost paint him and De Bruyne with the same brush in the first half. I think they're both forcing it. I think they're both trying too hard to play that killer pass. They're almost a bit excited by the high line that they saw in front of them, but he settled into it. But yeah, he initiated both goals. He was influential in both goals, and he has to give the guy credit for that. I'd probably give him like an 8.1.
I think he's got to get a good rating. You know what I mean? And I think if you're in the eights, that is a good rating because ultimately, you know, if you've in games like this, you just need players who actually create the chances and put the ball in the back of the net, and that's, you know, Foden did do that. He was involved in both goals, so yeah, he gets a good rating from me. Bill Mansour says Pep recruited, I guess that means a Kanji because of his maths. Yeah, I mean, fucking Pellegrini could have done with a Kanji when we played Bayern Munich all those years ago, and he fucking put Jack Rodwell on the pitch instead of Aguero, man. Jesus. By the way, that lives rent free in my head. By the way, that lives rent free in my head. It will never exit. It's just here, sat there in my fucking brain of why did he bring Jack Rodwell on instead of, or was it Jack Rodwell? I'm pretty sure it was Jack Rodwell instead of, it was someone like that anyway. It might have been Garcia, someone not very good. Right, you know what? Let's do Doku because we've got a couple of messages about Doku and I've kept him waiting long enough. Jamie Doku, bro, yesterday come off the pitch. I mean, we spoke about him a little bit earlier on. Here's his stats, guys. Yeah, obviously on that left-hand side. 21 minutes played, 1 shot on target, 1 a penalty, 3 dribbles, 1 successful, 82% passing accuracy, so missed 2 place passes, 1 cross unsuccessful, and 8 ground deals, 4 of them won. Obviously fantastic to win the penalty because that killed the game. But listen, for me, I just say this. I think he has massively improved his ball retention, which was lacking earlier in the season. Decision making, and I'm not saying it's perfect. I'm not saying he's the best player. I'm not saying anything like that. I'm just saying he has already improved this year. He already looks more like a Pep player than he did at the start of the season, which obviously because he's been here a season. I'm interested to see, with another pre-season under his belt, yeah, with a little bit more trust given to him by Pep Guardiola next year, and again, playing him earlier in the season where the pressure's off because it's earlier on in the season, and see what he can do and see him develop. I think he looks like a good signing, bro. I'm super excited to see how he develops. Is he the finished article? No, he's nowhere near. But he already looks a lot better than he did when he first joined.
Bro, he's what? He's like 21 years old. I think he might be 22 right now. You know what I'm saying? Really, really young player. Really, really young player who had a huge amount to learn. I think you're right that he's developed a lot. I think people were very critical of him. It was similar to Kovacic to Gundogan. People were like Doku to or Mahrez to Doku. Is that good business? Is that the right move? Is that, you know, is it good? And a lot of people said no too quickly, and they're probably right short term, but long term, Pep clearly sees something in this guy. And I think last night highlighted a lot of his development, a lot of his progressions over the season, because he wasn't really playing in a Doku area of the pitch yesterday, was he? He was playing very narrow when he came on the pitch for those sort of 15-20 minutes. His ball retention was good. He was resisting the press very well. He had 2 and 3 players on him at times. The big thing for me with Doku is, and it always has been, is his decision making. Yeah, I've no doubt he's very technically good. I've no doubt he's got a high ceiling. It was always his decision making, and the decision making was quite simple. It was, do you take the extra touch or not? Do you take the extra touch? Because at the start of the season, he was taking that extra touch or 2 at times, and it was costing us. It was costing us a quick attack. It was costing us an open space or an opportunity to create something because he's holding on that bit too long. But recently, he's been releasing the ball, I think, a lot quicker. He's getting it. He's getting it bit by bit. Doku's getting it. I never disliked the guy. I never said, "Oh, this was a bad signing," or we shouldn't have got Doku. I was always patient with him. And I think that's another thing people need to be with Doku. It's just patience.
I also think, bro, you know what as well? I also feel like he just played in the wrong games at times. Like some of those big games that we played him in, that we really needed to be winning. Obviously, now you look back and say, well, we didn't need to win because we should win in the league. But you know what I'm on about? Like the big. I feel like some of those games, maybe we shouldn't have started him, and we should have eased him in a little bit more into some of the lesser games. So that's why, again, I'm excited to see him next season, because if he does play in any of those big games next year, Arsenal, Liverpool, Chelsea, Man United, I'm going to be interested to see how he gets on in those games. So,
but he was thrown in the deep end, really, Doku. He was thrown in the deep end.
No, I agree. But like that's my point. Is maybe in hindsight, maybe he shouldn't have been thrown into the deep end. Now, some people might say,
Pep's hands were tied, bro. I mean, Grealish was injured for large parts of the season, or for parts of the season anyway. We had no Mahrez. Cole Palmer's gone. You're looking at Doku,
100%.
Oscar Bob, and these kind of guys. So he was forced to play. And I think by all accounts, taking everything into consideration, he gave a good account of himself in his first season at Manchester City.
I I agree. I think it's been a decent season. And let's see what he does next year. Sign says if Doku haters can't see the potential he has, please go to Specsavers. This guy is improving rapidly. One more game, says Signs. Yeah, on Doku. In fact, let me get this one in as well. Big up Signs. Citizen says Doku celebration when Pen was awarded epic. Yeah, man, because he knew. He knew that was a big moment, bro. He knew that like you score the penalty and it's game over. That's why we all celebrated. But I think I watched the replay this morning and me on the watch along. I think I celebrated getting the penalty more than I celebrated the actual goal going in, which is kind of weird, maybe sad. I'm going to give. Well, I'm not going to give him some play rating. He played 20 minutes, but what I will say is it was a good performance when he come on. He got the penalty, fantastic, and done some good stuff there as well. Okay, a couple more players to go, guys. Bernardo Silva out on that right-hand side. Again, interested to hear your thoughts on this one, guys. There's a lot of debate going on social media about how he played, not just yesterday, but his general play all season. Played out, and it really held the width yesterday, didn't it? You can see on the heat map right there. 90 minutes played, 92% passing accuracy. Only misplaced 5 passes in the game, 2 of which were long balls. 1 key pass as well. 2 dribbles, 4 successful ground duels out of 11, and a couple of defensive stats there. Well, what did you make of Bernardo? I've seen some people on social saying he didn't play well yesterday, and there's a debate going around about has he played well all season. What's your thoughts? I'm just going to get a drink, bro.
Has he played well all season? That's absolutely crazy. That's Bernardo. Has he played well all season? Bernardo's had a very good season. He's had a very good season. I'm reading you guys in the chat and what you're saying, and I kind of get it. I've got mixed emotions towards Bernardo. I thought he kept the ball well. I thought he was a bit. I don't know. I mean, Nak said he's been poor all season. I don't think he's been poor all season. He wasn't poor. He wasn't poor yesterday, but he was the same. I put Foden and Bernardo in the same, or Foden and De Bruyne in the same category. That they're a bit like in the first half, a bit excited by the high line. Bernardo is probably a bit excited by the high line too, but I thought he had a good game. That's kind of it, really. I thought he had a good game. Was average, didn't do too much. Daniel says very quiet. I didn't know he was on the pitch for some parts of the game. But yeah, I don't really have that much more to say about Bernardo. He was kind of there, ineffective, very quiet. Bernardo does things that can't be replaced, calms the game. He does. You have to give him credit to him, man. He's probably similar to Rodri in a way that he's victim of how high his standards are. Everyone knows Bernardo is a world-class footballer. So if he doesn't put in a world-class performance, everyone's a bit like, oh, Bernardo wasn't great. Bernardo wasn't this. Bernardo wasn't that. But he's a calming presence. He didn't give the ball away sloppily. He was fine. There was nothing special about him, nothing awful about him.
Yeah, I did hear that. I had my headphones on. I agree. I thought he just kept the ball well. You know, I think as well, by the way, yeah, when you're playing Foden and Kevin De Bruyne in the middle, you know, because obviously we don't have Grealish, it's kind of good to have just that like sort of safe pair of hands that Bernardo Silva can do. He's a player that's not going to get you too many goals. He's not going to get too many assists. He does step in and he does get a couple of big goals and assists now and again, but he doesn't give you the consistency in the output. So I think when you go in for sort of a more aggressive style, which obviously we've had to do since the Arsenal game because we've needed to win all our games, I do think it helps to have someone in that forward line who can just hold the ball and sort of, as well, Bernardo Silva, he can step into the midfield as well, which he's done a few times whilst he's been on that right-hand side. If sometimes we're getting a little bit overrun or Rodri goes forward, he can just drop into the midfield and do what he needs to do. I think for me, 7.5.
I said like 7.2 for me.
Okay, cool. Right, guys, 2 players left. Kevin De Bruyne, that's his heat map. There you go. A bit weird, sort of like scattered everywhere. Played 69 minutes. By the way, apparently he's fine. He's done an interview this morning with Sky Sports News, and he said his ankle's fine, so it will be available for the game against West Ham, which is great news. Got 1 assist, 61. Look at that, only 18 passes. Really struggled to get him on the ball, didn't we, yesterday? 1 key pass, 1 big chance created, shot on target, which it was a decent save. Needed to be a bit more in the corner. A couple dribbles, not successful. Got stuck in defensively as well. Was it his best game in the world? No, but ultimately got the assist that got us the first goal. So that's what it's about for me. Yeah, I mean, Kev just... Yeah, it's annoying, really, because I feel like on another day, Kev could have had about 3 or 4 assists in that first half. We just couldn't quite get the ball to him where he had the ability to turn and then get his head up and then play Haaland in. It was like there just wasn't the time for him to do what he needed to do. So I don't think it was one of his best games in the world. But ultimately, again, you know how many times this season I've done these player ratings and everyone's been like, "He was crap." You got an assist. Anfield away, he was crap. Got the only assist of our game with the corner. He does it all the time, man. Like, so yeah, listen, wasn't great, but got the assist for the first goal, which was huge. So for me, I'll probably give him for that 7.7.
Yeah, I was going to say 7.7 as well. He's another one of these players that he didn't have his best game, but his fingerprints are still all over the game. He still impacted it huge. I think he was frustrated, Kev. I think you're right. Everything you said about, not being the right time and we couldn't get him in the right positions. And he looked frustrated by the way he was when he would get in possession. He was trying to force it. I don't know about you, but I thought he was trying to force it. He was trying to play the pass that maybe wasn't on when the easier ball probably should have been picked. And that's probably why his passing stats aren't amazing. But look, it is what it is. Like, if we were to play the game again tonight, he's probably first name on the team sheet or one of the first names of the team sheet. That doesn't change. He's Kevin De Bruyne. I'm so glad that he's okay because he's going to be needed on Sunday. He's a big game player, and he did turn up. Whether you think his overall performance was bad, he did turn up and he did what he needs to do and what he's known for, which is getting assists and making things happen. And he did, because if he doesn't make that first goal happen, we don't know what happens after that, do we? We don't know how the atmosphere turns, what the nerves are like. So. Wasn't his best day. I don't think he played well overall, but that's Kevin De Bruyne. He doesn't have to play well and he'll still impact.
That's it, man. For me, Kevin De Bruyne is like the output machine. We need him to. That's what he's in the job. That's what's in the team to do, and he needs to get goals and assists, and that's what he did yesterday. So I can't really cook him too much when he got an assist. Okay, let's speak about this absolute fraud. Yeah, League 2 player, guys.
I don't want to talk about this guy, bro. Why? We're Man City fans. Why are we talking about League 2 players? Why are we talking about League 2 players, man? What are we doing here?
Well, that's what we do now, yo. Ortega, League 2. Erling Haaland, League 2. I mean, it's a miracle. It's honestly a miracle that we win anything with all these League 2 players. I mean, Pep Gvardiol must be the best manager that's ever lived. I mean, he might be anyway, but like, you know what I mean? To do what he's doing with all these League 2 players, Ortega, Haaland, it's absolutely insane. Haaland now, by the way, I'm really sorry to tell you this, guys, but just the 44 GA in 43 games this season.
I think send him back to League 2, to be honest. It's not really it.
Just a 1-goal buffer on his GA to games ratio. I mean, he's only scored 38. If we take away the assists, he's only got 38 goals in 43 games this season. I mean, it's just not good enough. We demand a goal per game.
Nah, is Wilfred Boney still around? Can we bring him back? Because I'm not sure about this Haaland guy. Maybe who's in League 2 these days? Who plays in League 2? Would they give us 2 or 3 million for him? Because I'm not sure about this guy.
John Stead's probably fucking going, or whatever the fuck he's called. I remember him. He's a player that played for everyone. Now, listen, for me, Haaland, yeah, this is what I need him to do. This is what I need him to do. I need him to score the goals. Yeah, and this is this is how stupid people are. People go, oh, but he only scored a tap-in and a penalty. Bro, this is literally like he's done it in the most precious scenario. By the way, that penalty, one of the best penalties ever taken in his life.
Yeah.
It's a high-pressure scenario. He knows, right? There's 10 minutes to go, by the way, because there was 10 minutes added on time, or 9 minutes added on, whatever it was, with the 90th minute, yeah? He knows that if he scores that pen, it's game over. And basically, everyone thinks City have won the league. Obviously, 1 game to go. If he misses, he knows that for 10 minutes... Tottenham are just going to be onslaughting on Manchester City, and we got to defend for 10 minutes for our lives. If they score, that's it. Game over. He's the villain. Yeah? And he didn't just score. One of the best players. I watched it back this morning. The camera angle, yeah? Where he's like, the camera's behind Haaland, so like you see exactly where the ball goes. He's basically put it into the top bins. It was an amazing penalty. So cool. And this is just... I cannot believe there are people out there that just focus. By the way, his hold-up play yesterday I actually thought was really good. I cannot believe there's people out there that would rather speak about his off-the-ball ability or his touch or whatever when the guy is literally scoring 38 goals in a bad season, apparently. It's wild, man. People really need to assess their sort of football takes, man. It's unbelievable. And 2 goals won us the game. Nice one, mate. Cheers.
his off the ball is look, he's a player playing with a lot of confidence right now. I don't think any of us had any doubt that when he was going through a bit of a dry patch there and it was a bit frustrating for him, and kind of around the Real Madrid sort of games, none of us, I don't know about anyone in the chat, but me anyway, I had no doubt that once he got 1 or 2 in a game, the floodgates would open, and once he's playing with confidence, Erling Haaland's playing well. But his off the ball was good. His off the ball is good. The movement he was making last night, his running off the shoulder of the last defender, he was making an effort to try and get into position. He's not waiting for the ball to come to him, which maybe a League 2 player would, a League 2 striker would, waiting for the ball to be put in a plate for you. He is trying to make things happen. And you can talk about the tap-in all you want. He's got to be there. He has to be there. Do you know what I'm saying? If he doesn't have the instinct or the awareness or the position or whatever strikers need, he has to be there. For it to be a good goal, it doesn't have to be an overhead kick or a scorpion kick or a screamer from outside the box. Being a striker is predominantly down to instinct. It's down to knowing and snuffing out danger and knowing where you can make an impact. And that's what separates Haaland from pretty well any other striker in the world right now. Haaland has a sixth sense of knowing where to be and where the ball is going to get played. He has this brilliant understanding with Kevin De Bruyne. If you look at the assist Kev got for that, Kev barely even looked. He just knew Haaland was going to be there. And he was. It's elite stuff. The numbers speak for themselves. And look, he looks like a much happier and comfortable player. Who did he score 4 against recently, bro? Was it Wolves? Yeah, man. That game spoke volumes. Since then, like, I thought the Real Madrid kind of period, he was looking frustrated. He was looking a bit stressed. His movement had stopped. He wasn't making the same effort to get into channels and that. But now he's everywhere. Now he's dropping deep. He's going out wide. He's getting involved. So people need to chill out. I tweeted this last week. I said Haaland hate is ridiculously forced. Ridiculously forced. He's a monster. Absolute weirdo. Like, I don't know what's wrong with the guy, but he's unbelievable.
I think you said it then, or someone else said it in the chat. Kevin De Bruyne, our main creator, wasn't even there in the team for the first half. So, you know what I mean? Like, to do what he's done, I think is absolutely crazy. I think he deserves way more respect. I think there's very, very few strikers out there in the world right now. You know what I mean? I think for me, I look at Isak and Haaland as the two sort of clinical strikers, the two that will get you the goals. No disrespect to Watkins, but I don't think he's on the same level despite having an amazing season that he's had. There's not a club in the world that wouldn't take Haaland. Maybe Newcastle fans will probably stick with Isak, maybe, but yeah, I mean, he's just insane. You know what I mean? And again,
no, I reckon if you said to Newcastle fans, Haaland's here, all you have to do is get rid of Isak, they're taking Haaland.
Yeah, maybe, bro, maybe.
They are. They are.
I want to know how can I find like City's top all-time scorer list? Like, what website could I find that on?
Should be pretty easy to find, no?
Man City all-time top scorers.
I think it's Aguero. Aguero's definitely number 1. Sterling might be number 2 or 3.
Here we go. I got it. That was actually easier than I thought it was going to be. I did actually just type it on Google, like you said. There you go. So he's already 8th.
That's crazy.
And there's 2 games left. Look, he's probably with 2 games left against West Ham and United. There's a good chance that he'll overtake the legend that is Colin Bell there with 92 goals. I mean, it's unreal. Look at that, 0.94 goals per match. Absolutely insane. He's only 5 away from Gabriel Jesus. I mean, let's be honest, yeah. There's a good chance that he'll be second by the end of next season.
Sterling's on what? 131. Haaland's on 90.
He's 41.
All he has to do is the same season he's had now.
Yeah, he needs 41 goals next season. And that, by the way, that 41 includes the fact that he's scoring none against West Ham and none against Man United. So if he scores 3 goals in the next 2 games, which is more than possible, he could quite easily be the second highest Manchester City player by the end of next season in 3 years. You know how fucking crazy that is. You know how crazy that is. He's the second highest scorer of the club. Yeah. After 3 seasons, if he has just a standard season.
It's quite hard to comprehend.
People are saying that's the wrong list. Why is it the wrong list?
No, it's not. It's not. That's the right list.
List is wrong. List is incorrect. Why is it the wrong list?
I don't think it is.
Oh, I don't know.
I mean, look at another website. See if it's any different.
okay. Man City.
Eric Brook. Yeah, Eric Brook is number 2. Fair that is, so it could be wrong. I think Eric Brook's 2 and Sterling's 3.
Oh. Oh yeah, that is true.
Yeah.
Why is he not on the list then? Where did he play? Was he too old or something?
Time ago.
Yeah, maybe they don't put him on because
Tommy Johnson as well. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe this is transfer marked, so maybe they're okay. So this is just basically not true. Everything we've just said there is not true. We've got to fact check ourselves. Right, okay. Player rating then for Erling Haaland. I'm gonna give him I'll give him a 9. I'm gonna give him a 9. He got 2 goals that won us the game and the penalty that killed it off. So I'm gonna give him a 9. And actually, I thought his hold-up play was pretty good as well last night. So yeah, I'm gonna give him a 9.
Yeah, I'll give him. I'm gonna give him a 9.5, man. Like everything, like I think you have to inflate the scores based on the occasion. It's not a normal occasion. You know what I'm saying? It's not a run of the mill match, and he's turned up. So I'll give him a 9.5. Here, I have the list here. Yeah, Eric Brook is second with 177. So yeah, there's a load of people that you probably wouldn't even know here. You got Tommy Johnson, Joe Hayes, Billy Meredith. Like these are. You're going back to the 1800s here, people.
Yeah, maybe it's just doesn't. Maybe transfer market has like a cut off. Then I imagine that's the situation. Right, okie dokie. I think we're done. LB says Lee Gunner is cooking everyone. Yeah, I bet he's fuming, man. He's fuming this morning. I'll be up to Nick says people say anyone could score 40 in this team. Jesus, yeah, these people are dumb. Honestly, if anyone says that, yeah, you know for a fact they don't know shit about football. I'm sorry if anyone says to me. Anyone could score 40 goals in that City team. I just instantly. I might not say it to the face. I don't want to be rude, but I just instantly switch off. Oh, okay. All right. Yeah, I mean, I just instantly switch off if someone said that to me. I'm like, okay, that's what you think. If that's what you honestly think. Right, bro. What you saying, man? Anything else you want to add? A big up, by the way, for doing. I didn't really. Sorry, bro. I genuinely chat. These player ratings normally take 30 minutes. I'm sorry, man, for keeping you for an hour and a half. I honestly didn't realize.
Time flies, man. Time flies when you're having fun. I enjoyed it. No, I'm enjoying life right now, man. I'm enjoying life. I'm looking forward to the Big 6 on Friday, and then hopefully we can do this again next week as league champions.
Yeah, man. Absolutely. It'll be sick. What you got coming up? You got any streams today?
I should be streaming on my channel at some point today. It all depends on what the Big 6 are doing, but yeah, I'm like 500 subs off 9k, so I'm trying to get to 9k sort of by summertime. So any help on that would be absolutely fantastic, people. Big up to everybody. Big up to you as well for having me on, bro.
Yeah, no, thanks for jumping on, man, especially with late notice. Yeah, guys, listen, big up for joining me, man. 2 more player ratings left of the season. Hopefully they're both positive, because if they're not, that means we've either not won the league or not won the FA Cup, or God forbid both. Yeah. So basically, lads, I've got a panel show tonight, 7 p.m. That's on the main channel, on this channel. And then I'm doing a United watch along, laugh along on More LB straight after, man, at 8 p.m. So yes, a couple more videos. I might do I was going to do a video on the More LB now, like cooking these Twitter guys, but to be honest, this stream's gone a lot longer than it normally does, so I'll probably have a day off on that one. So yeah, back at 7 p.m, main channel, panel show, make sure you do it. And then yeah, the laugh along, Joe says, couldn't get Messi as a guest, but I guess Hugh is a good backup. Big up, man.
I'll take that.
Right, yeah, people want me to send them over to Lee, man. So I understand why, because that's probably going to be a cracker. Yo, big up to Hugh for joining, as always, guys. Guys, make sure you drop a like, make sure you subscribe, make sure you go over to Hugh's channel as well. HMTV, make sure you subscribe. It's 500 away from 9k. Let's have it done. Right? You asked for it. You're going over to Lee. See you later, guys.